The intelligence world, some agencies are the talk of the town, CIA, Mossad, MI6, but some work more quietly in the shadows. The Saudi Arabian Intelligence Agency, GIP, is just such an organization. What is known about it is limited, and its operations are often shrouded in mystery. But there is one fact. It is the eyes and ears of one of the world's most powerful oil kingdoms, and the moves it has made in recent years have catapulted Saudi Arabia to a completely different position on the global intelligence scene. Today, we delve deeper into Saudi intelligence. Which operations brought it to the world agenda? Who runs it? Where does its real power lie? And most importantly, what role will this organization play in the future? The answers may be more dramatic than you think. In 1957, Saudi Arabia gets a modern intelligence organization. The General Presidency of Intelligence, GIP, is officially established. The aim is clear: to protect the regime, detect enemies early, and guarantee the future of the royal family. The name behind this organization, King Faisal, then Crown Prince Faisal, realized that his country was not prepared for internal and external threats. Saudi Arabia's vast oil reserves make it rich, but they also make it a target. Intelligence is no longer a luxury, but a necessity. In the early years, the GIP focused entirely on internal security, suppressing opposition movements, containing internal dynastic conflicts, and countering the rise of Arab nationalism. Saudi Arabia's intelligence reflex is initially defensive. By the 1970s, however, things changed. As oil revenues increase, Saudi Arabia's global influence grows, and this leads the GIP to become an international power. They now operate not only domestically but also abroad. Especially in regional crisis points such as Egypt, Lebanon, and Yemen, Saudi intelligence is on the ground. Over the years, GIP has been divided into two: domestic intelligence, protecting the regime, monitoring the opposition, preventing assassination attempts; external intelligence, keeping tabs on regional rivals, supporting diplomatic and military moves, and even conducting direct operations when necessary. Today, Saudi Arabia's intelligence force is still built on this foundation, but its methods have changed. Technology, cyber surveillance systems, and global partnerships have taken GIP to a whole new level. And this transformation has taken place in the shadow of some operations. Saudi intelligence has often remained in the shadows, but some operations were so high profile that GIP's name made world headlines. Here are some of the most critical moments. October 2nd, 2018, the Consulate General of Saudi Arabia in Istanbul. Journalist Jamal Khashoggi went inside and was never heard from again. Days later, the terrible truth emerged. Saudi agents had killed Khashoggi and destroyed his body. The assassination shocked the world. Turkish intelligence leaked footage of the incident. Harsh reactions came from the US and Europe. The Saudi government first denied it, then backtracked. An individual act by agents out of control, they said, claiming that the incident was independent of GIP, but everyone knew this was a state-sponsored operation. It was one of the biggest mistakes of Saudi intelligence. Pressure on Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman has increased, the GIP's international reputation has been shaken, but this was not the organization's first major scandal. A civil war has been raging in Yemen since 2015. Saudi Arabia waged war against the Iranian-backed Houthi rebels, but this war involved not only the military but also intelligence. The GIP has repeatedly carried out operations to eliminate the Houthi leadership. Drone strikes, espionage attempts, sabotage plans, but the results were unsuccessful. The Houthis put up a stronger resistance against Saudi Arabia. Moreover, thanks to Iranian intelligence support, they organized attacks on Saudi Arabia's military bases. This intelligence war exposed one of the GIP's greatest weaknesses. They were still not effective enough against rivals like Iran. Lebanon, the intelligence arena of the Middle East, Hezbollah, Mossad, CIA, Iranian Revolutionary Guards, and of course Saudi Arabia. Saudi intelligence has been trying to break Hezbollah's power in Lebanon for years. Financial support, political moves, spy networks. But Iran's influence is so great that the Saudis have taken a back seat in this struggle. Iran has repeatedly hunted Saudi agents on its own turf. In 2019, Iran announced that it had captured spies working for Saudi Arabia. Some were executed. Others were sentenced to years in prison. This was a big blow for the GIP, but Saudi intelligence is still in the game. Saudi Arabian intelligence is at a crossroads. International pressure over the murder of Jamal Khashoggi, failures in Yemen, and weaknesses vis-à-vis Iran. All this has forced a fundamental change in the organization, and the person initiating change is the country's de facto leader, Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. Bin Salman has carried out a thorough purge in the intelligence organization. Old cadres were purged, and names with suspected loyalty were dismissed. Khalid bin Ali al-Humaydan, the head of the GIP, was replaced by new names. Power struggles within the royal family have spilled over into intelligence. Names close to bin Salman were appointed to key positions in the organization. The goal was clear: to turn the intelligence agency into a power completely subordinate to him. The most remarkable part of bin Salman's intelligence reforms: cyber intelligence. Saudi Arabia now monitors its enemies not only with agents on the ground, but also digitally. They track opponents with advanced systems such as Pegasus spy software. Special teams have been created for social media manipulation. The digital surveillance infrastructure has become advanced enough to monitor every movement in the country. The use of Pegasus in particular has caused a stir in the West. The Saudi government allegedly used this software to track dissidents and journalists. The clearest example of this was the hacking of the phones of Jamal Khashoggi's inner circle. These developments have made Saudi Arabia one of the most powerful intelligence centers in the region, but it has also created new enemies, because intelligence wars are now won not only on the ground, but also in cyberspace, and Saudi Arabia is aggressively engaged in this battle. But this is not enough. To understand the power of the GIP, we need to see its global alliances and enemies, because the stage is no longer limited to the Middle East. Intelligence agencies do not only fight wars, they also forge alliances, balance their enemies, and negotiate behind the scenes. This is exactly what Saudi Arabia's General Directorate of Intelligence does. But the question is, with whom is it close? With whom is it at war? And how sustainable are these relations? CIA, Mossad, and MI6 deep ties with the West? Saudi intelligence is an indispensable ally of the West. Their relationship with the CIA dates back to the 1970s. The Saudis have always played a key role in US intelligence operations in the Middle East. There is a complex balance with the Mossad. Although they are officially enemies, there is alleged occasional cooperation in anti-Iranian operations. MI6 is one of the actors that helped shape Saudi intelligence. The British advised on the establishment of the GIP and were instrumental in shaping its structure. In the Middle East, not only states but also intelligence agencies compete with each other. Intelligence cooperation between Egypt and Saudi Arabia is strong, but not entirely based on trust. Both countries have different approaches to Islamist movements in the region. They share a common enemy with the UAE, Iran, and Turkey. That is why Abu Dhabi and Riyadh often work together to share intelligence. Qatar is one of the biggest problems for Saudi intelligence. Doha's independent foreign policy and Al Jazeera's broadcasts irritate the Saudi leadership. While Saudi Arabia launched an embargo against Qatar in 2017, its intelligence units also conducted espionage operations inside Qatar. In recent years, it seems that Saudi Arabia is not only dependent on the West. Increasing intelligence contacts with China and Russia are particularly noteworthy. China provides the Saudis with advanced surveillance systems and cyber intelligence tools. Relations with Russia are mostly in the energy and security fields. However, some analysts say Saudi Arabia could enter into deeper intelligence cooperation with Moscow if it distances itself from the West. Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman's reforms have made the organization more aggressive, more digital, and more independent. But this transformation has also brought new risks and new enemies. Saudi Arabia is no longer alone in the regional balance. intelligence wars with rivals such as Iran, Turkey, and Israel are becoming increasingly fierce.
Relations with the West are at a delicate point. Cooperation with the CIA and MI6 continues, but the authoritarian attitude of the Saudi leadership weakens these ties.
China and Russia could be the new future partners of Saudi intelligence, but this could further distance the Saudis from the West. Is Saudi intelligence getting stronger, or is it on the verge of a new collapse? The answer lies in the moves the GIP will make in the coming years. And if history has taught us anything, it is that intelligence wars never end. And the game Saudi Arabia is playing in the shadows is only just beginning.